I'm live. Turn up the volume. Can you hear me? Is the microphone working? I'm doing something very meta. In the background, on this TV, I'm playing videos that I've previously recorded that are on YouTube. I'm doing something very meta. While I make this live stream video that no one's going to watch live, it's nearly 6 o'clock in the morning, Central Time, if you're in New Orleans or Chicago. "5:48 here in Central Time, Chicago land, which means it's whatever 3:48 in California if you're up all night." I am behind me talking from a television. It's very meta. I already said that. Let's take off these. That'll be fun. I realized from the last live stream video that the less that I move around, the less clicky click it gets. That's stuck in time. The less trippy it is for you if you're on hallucinogens or not. I wanted to think of having topics to speak about, so I actually thought it would be good if I looked at my Facebook, because that's where I post lots of things. Censorship, that's a topic. I don't know what they've been doing in schools. I've said this the other day to somebody. I graduated from high school in 1981. Nearly 40 years ago. Wow. I just realized my high school reunion will be coming up this year. 40-year high school reunion. Wow. Barnstable High School, class of 81. Unmasked. I don't know if I'll go. I went to the 10-year one, which was now 30 years ago. Crazy. I don't know what they teach in high schools anymore. But what I was thinking about, do they teach the old U.S. Constitution, the old historical document that at some point perhaps we in America followed? People go to court and they argue things based on the Constitution, and the judges are like, yeah, that's a thing. And they just go, totally. Of course, the Constitution isn't strictly valid anymore. For instance, in 2012, around when Obama was president, they signed a law which said that they could just detain anybody forever. which means that they've suspended habeas corpus, which means that they no longer have a constitution for you or me. And I don't want to be censored, I'm trying to be like friendly, get along with everybody, especially here on YouTube. Get 7,000 videos on here. I'm going to stay friendly with the Google people, Love you, Google people. .com, looking it up, searching things, right? YouTube, I look up stuff on YouTube. I looked up, last year around February 2020, I looked up how to put transmission fluid into a Toyota, I think. My friend had a car. She needed to have fluids in there. I'm not a guy, quote unquote, when it comes to like car things. So I looked it up on the YouTube. YouTube's full of information. Good for YouTube, but I don't want to be censored, so I'm never going to say anything cutting edge, like it is interesting that the First Amendment is not something that people are taught anymore, it seems like. Again, I don't know what's going on in the high schools. I don't know what they teach in high schools. I haven't been, I don't go into a high school. I have no reason to go into a high school. I don't teach. I'm not a teacher. I don't have any teacher friends. I mean, I know people who are teachers, I'm sure. But what are they teaching? I don't know. They teach the First Amendment. You get to say what you want. Freedom of speech. As, as Noam Chomsky, I believe, once said, if we don't believe in freedom of expression, for people we despise, we don't believe in it at all. You see, what I think a lot of people miss, and perhaps it's the fault of education, I'm guessing, freedom of speech and the First Amendment, your friends to say what your friends want to say because you like them and you agree with them. It doesn't protect, hey, guess what? I brought you ice cream.
You know what? Open it. Yeah, that's better. Better than climbing over it. All right, nobody died? Excellent, good job. Getting the male video with children. The children want to play with the dog.
Again, meta. When I lived on Cape Cod, I did several videos called Getting the Mail. I don't think they're all even named that. If you're a fan of mine, and I think there's maybe 5. I think I have 5 fans. I'm one of them. I don't know how rabid these fans are, but I'm happy that I have them. I always think that maybe, well, I don't always think, I sometimes consider that I should have more. This guy, the dreamer, the happy hippie in high school. He thought about having fans. I thought about being in show business. One of the problems I had with being in show business was that I felt like you would have to move to New York City or Los Angeles. I couldn't conceive of not doing that, especially in the field that I was thinking of being famous in, which was like show business, stand-up comedy, perhaps being some sort of television writer, movie star, something. No one knows what the odds are when you do it. When you decide to do it, no one knows what the odds are. For every Jerry Seinfeld, I think that if you cornered 100 comedians and said, I would like you to make a list going back the last 30 years, right? Back to like 1990 when Seinfeld was, getting a television show. If you ask those 100 comedians and you said, write a list of 1,000 comedians funnier than Jerry Seinfeld, I think that if they given time, they could do that. Brian Fraser is funnier than Jerry Seinfeld. You don't even know who that is. I think Bruce Babyman Baum. It's all a crapshoot. So I'm saying I don't know if I was gonna be famous, but I didn't want to actually have to live in Los Angeles. I'd been there, visited. I've lived there, right? Anywhere, if you go somewhere and you're there for a week, you lived there, right? Like if you're a baby, right? If you're a baby and you're born in New York City and you're a baby and you're alive for a month and then you die, very sad. We're going to have a funeral. There's going to be like a coffin. I don't know what happens anyway. I'm just saying if that happens to you like in your next life, or if it happened to you in a past life, it hasn't happened to anybody, right? You'd say, oh, that baby lived in New York. That's what you'd say. So if you go to visit somewhere for a week, you live there, right? Anyway, I lived in Los Angeles. I've lived in Los Angeles. I think the longest I was ever there straight, or in that I wasn't gay. See what I did there? That's a joke. The longest I ever lived there consistently day after day for a period of time, I think that was 3 weeks. But I've been there for a week. And in 2020, I was there. In 2020, I was there. In 2020, I was in Los Angeles for 3 weeks. Yeah, I did that. I did it again. So I've done that twice now. Wow. Of course, I could have lived in San Francisco and been in show business. I didn't cognize that though. I figured you had to, when I was doing comedy in San Francisco, I figured you would have to move to Los Angeles to pursue it. So I thought, I don't want to do that. Or the other thing about comedy, showbiz, and showbiz in general, there's a lot of travel involved, right? Most showbiz people have to travel, right? I mean, I think it would be cool if, say, you were a Broadway actor and you lived in Manhattan and then you just walked to work. You'd always be thinking oh, why aren't I on TV? Someone would come along and go, hey, you want to be in a movie? And it's going to shoot in Morocco. Now you have to travel, right? Suddenly you have to go to Morocco. And I think there's shots involved. I'm afraid of those. I don't want to get shot. Afraid of being shot. So anyway, I'm doing a live stream and no one's watching again. Meta. But I had fun again. And I'm going to make podcasts also on bitshoot.com where I can say what I want. They're not so sensory. They're not sensory deprivation. Sensory. But this is 15 minutes, and I doubt anyone will watch it. Who will watch it? If you watch, you will not have gotten to here. I wish I had said that at the beginning, that I somehow dared people to watch it all the way to the end. Anyway, this is all entertainment for me to watch later. That's all, that's all it ever has been. Ending the stream.